The Strange Box. Introduction. A long time has passed since the children have been on the Magic Key adventure. In fact, they have almost forgotten the last time the key glowed. Biff and Chip are now 10. Kipper is 8. And Wilma has started secondary school. When Chip discovered a strange old box in his room, things began to change forever. Chapter 1. Chip found the old box on top of his wardrobe. It had been there for years. He'd just forgotten about it. He took the box down, blew the dust off, and looked at it curiously. "Come and see this, Biff," he called. The box was made of heavy metal and had strange markings on it. "We found a magic key inside it," said Chip. "Do you remember?" He scratched the lid with his fingernail. "It's rusty," Biff said, "but the rust is an odd green color." They took the box downstairs and Biff rubbed it with a scoring pad. Under a green rust, a metal shone with different colors. "It looks like oil when it's spilled on water," said Biff. Kipper came into the kitchen. He flung his football kit on the floor, went to the fridge and poured himself a glass of orange juice. "Hey, what a weird-looking box," he said. "It had a magic key in it," replied Chip, "but it's not much use. The inside is all peculiar. Look." The box was empty, but inside were metal grooves and slots. It looked as if something complicated at once fitted exactly into it. "We've no idea what it is, or what it was used for," said Biff. Chip left the box on the worktop and they all went upstairs. What they didn't see was the faint glow that seeped out through the half-shut lid on the box. Chapter 2. The big event of the weekend was the school fair. The money raised at the fair was going to buy ET equipment. Mom had been busy making cake to sell. Biff, Chip, and Kipper had filled a bag with all toys and games for the toy sale. That Saturday, Wilma's mom came to the house to collect things for a second-hand stall. Wilma was helping her to run it. "We've not much for you," said Mom. "There's a vase, some china cats, and pictures that none of us likes." Chip spotted the old box on the worktop. "How about this? Somebody might want to buy it," he said. He looked at Biff and Kipper. "We don't want it, do we?" Biff and Kipper shook their heads. So Wilma's mom took the box to sell on her stall. After that, the trouble began. Chapter 3. Later, the family went to the supermarket. When they got home, Floppy was barking loudly. A window had been broken and the kitchen door was open. "Someone's broken in," gasped Dad. "Oh no!" exclaimed Mom. "What have they taken?" They looked around to see what had been stolen, but nothing was missing. The only strange thing was that the house felt very cold, and the glass from the broken light bulb lay on the floor. "Maybe Floppy saw them up," said Biff. "It's very odd," thought Chip. "I wonder what they were after." Later, Biff called Chip to her room. "I know this sounds silly," she began, "but do you think it was a good idea to give the old box away? We did find the key in it." "Why not? The key's still safe, isn't it?" Biff opened a drawer where the key was hidden in the pair of her old socks. "Of course it is. she said. Chapter 4. Wilma found it strange to be back in her old school. Last year she had moved up to the secondary school. Now she was back helping her mom to run a stall at the school fair. She enjoyed setting up the stall. She put large objects on the back and smaller ones at the front. She had a surprise when she picked up the old box. "It's really heavy," she said. At the end, she put the box next to a brass dish and the china cats. Wilma's mom was on the separate table. She was selling the more valuable items. Everyone was pleased to see Mrs. May at the fair. She had retired 2 years ago and had come back to open it. "I want you all to spend lots of money," joked Miss May, "and make this the best school fair ever. Now I declare the fair open." People rushed to the stalls to try and get a bargain. On Wilma's stall, many of the items sold quickly, but nobody seemed interested in the old box. Then something strange happened. It felt as if an icy wind had blown through the hall. Then there was a loud pop. One of the strip lights had been exploded. Then the lights flickered and went dim. "A power cut," someone groaned. Mr. Mortlock, the caretaker, hurried into the hall. But then the lights came back on again. "How odd," said Wilma's mum. Chapter 5. Nadim came to a stall with Wolf and Nina. He picked up the old box and opened it. "I like this, Wilma. How much?" he asked. £5, replied Wilma hopefully. "Fine," said Nadim, handing Wilma the money. "But I'd like to buy that box too," said a voice behind them. Nadim spun around. The voice was icy and sinister. It belonged to a tall man in a long coat. He had pale, waxy skin, bright green eyes, and very black hair. The man's eyes were so cold and piercing that Wilma shuddered. "I'm sorry, the box is sold," she said, even though the man scared her. The man stared at Nadim. "I'll give you £30. That's 6 times what you paid for it," he said. Nadim imagined that if the snake could talk, its voice would sound just like this man's. But something made Nadim want to keep this box, whatever the man offered him. So he shook his head. "You stupid boy," the man hissed. "You have no use for the box, but I have. All right, I'll give it £50. Biff and Chip gasped. £50 was a lot for a useless old box. "Take the money," urged Chip. Out of the corner of his eye, Nadim saw Mr. Morlock shake his head. Nadim's heart beat fast. It was hard to breathe. He thought what he could do with £50, but something told him not to sell the box to this man. "Sorry," he said, "it's not for sale." The man opened his mouth to speak, but Mr. Morlock moved close to Nadim. "Is everything all right?" Mr. Morlock asked in the firm voice. The man stared at Nadim with the lizard-like eyes. They made the hair rise on the back of Nadim's neck. Yes," said Nadim. "I think so." The man turned sharply and strode away. Mr. Morlock spoke quietly to himself. "So, the enemy has come," he said. Chapter 6. Every Saturday afternoon, Biff, Chip, and Kipper took Floppy for a walk. They ran home quickly and put Floppy on his lead. Then they walked back to school to meet their friends. They wanted to talk about the scary man. Who was he? Why did he want the box so badly, and what did Mr. Morlock have to do with it? They met up with Wolf, Wilma, Nadim, and Nina outside the school. As they walked home together, Chip noticed that Nadim was holding the old box tightly under his arm. They all talked about the sinister man who had come to the stall. The thought of him made them shudder. Ugh, the weird man who wanted to buy that box, Wilma began. Chip cut in. But you turned down 50 pounds, Nadim, he said. I would have taken money just to get rid of him. Nadim shrugged. There was something about him. I couldn't let him have it. Suddenly Floppy stopped and growled. Has it turned chilly? Said Kipper. Then, as they turned into the park, there he was, the strange man. He was standing in front of them, blocking their way. I want that box, he hissed. It is not yours, it's mine. Give it to me. Chip's heart gave a leap. It was you who broke into our house, he shouted. You were looking for the box. But the man just stared at Nadim. Nadim felt he couldn't turn away from the cold gaze of the man's green eyes. He held the box out, and the man's gloved hand reached out to take it. No! Shouted Biff. She snatched the box away just as the gloved fingers closed on it. The man lunged at her, but she drew the box back to Nadim. Run! Shouted Biff. They ran in the group. Nadim in the middle wished the box under his arm, as if from nowhere. The man was in front of them. That's impossible, gasped Wolf. The man stretched out his arms as if he was pulling them towards them. Behind them came the sound of running footsteps. It was Mr. Morlock. He stood in the front of the man and pointed something at him. There were bright flash and a sound, loud crackling sound. The man dissolved into a green flame that curled and twisted into a serpent-like shape. Then, like a firework, the shape turned into sparks and tiny shards of flame. They shot into the air, with a hiss and a whoosh. Time has come sooner than I wanted, shouted Mr. Morlock. The enemy is here, but we still have the box. Run, all of you, run through the door. It was as if a shimmering heat haze had risen in front of the trees. In the center of it was a blue door. It's a door in the landscape, gasped Chip. It's like the one in the Magic Key Adventures. The door swung open. There was only one thing to do. They ran through it.